Good evening, guys. Good evening. Good evening. I think let's share the link to others. We've had a challenge with network, so may we kindly share the link to others so that they can also let us share the link. Let us share the link so that we start. Okay. So make sure you share the link to others. We wanted to stream also on Facebook, but unfortunately we have a challenge to share the stream on Facebook. So we'll do better next time. I think we can start our lesson so that we don't waste much time actually. Okay. Okay, so we start. Now our lesson today, we're going to look at moment. Okay. So first of all, we need to understand what moments is all about before we can begin to calculate whatever we want to calculate. Okay, so now moment is a turning effect of a force. When you apply force, you know, we are used to such type of a force where if you apply a force, an object is pushed, maybe moving to a particular position, or sometimes when you drag something, okay, you're opening the door, something like that. We are used to things like that, okay? But now, this type of a force, when you apply, an object turns, okay? An example we are going to give is this. Let's say you apply force downwards. You've seen what is happening to the pen, okay? You're applying a force, what is happening? Okay, so this object, I'm applying a force here. This object is turning from here. So at this point where it is turning from, we call this as the pivot. Okay, this becomes the pivot, and you're applying force from here. Okay, so for you to measure moments of a force, you are supposed to have a force and also the perpendicular distance. So this distance, let's put out the example that I was talking about. We have this, okay? So now from here, we are saying, this is the pivot, okay? So a pivot is just a point where your object turns from, all right? It is just a point where your object turns from. Then this is where we're applying our force, okay? So how do you get your distance? Please don't get the distance, which it is from the pivot, that is from here to where you are applying the force from. This is the distance from here to there, and this is your force. They're supposed to form perpendicular lines like that. All right. Now, let us now talk about the principle of moments. Since we've known, we've talked about the moments of a force, okay, and we've talked about what moment is. The unit for moment is just Newton meter. The Newton for a force and the meter for distance, meaning distance should always be in meters. But it is not all the times that we're going to be converting our distance into meters, okay? You will see on the questions the way we're going to handle it. It depends, okay? Now we can look at the principle of moments. Notice I said moments. The principle of what? Moments. Here, I was just talking about one object, one force which is being applied here. As you can see, there's there's just a pivot, okay? There's just a pivot, and also there's only one force. On the other side of the pivot, there is no object. Okay, so changing everything, let's say we have this bar here, the pivot is right here. Now I have two objects. I have a force here, I have another force here. Let's name it as 2. Okay, are you guys able to see? Please comment if you are able to see. If you are unable to see, please, may I see the comments? It could be network. Okay, so now here we have a pivot. Okay, then we have two objects. Here where you have two objects, you cannot handle these on their own. So now the examiners will say, they will give you one force. Let's say they give you 20 newtons here. Okay, and then force number 2, they don't give you anything. They give you distance here to say, here this is at 10, let's say maybe 10, or maybe let's say 3 meters. And then this pivot is at, let's say 10 meters. This object here is at 15 meters. The whole lot of this is 25 meters. Okay. Now, they will ask you to find this force here, which is not given. The other force has been given as 20 newtons. Now, notice what is happening here. You cannot use the moment. You cannot use this for one thing. You are supposed to use principle of moments. That's where now it comes in. So here, it means okay, the network is bad, guys, so bear with me.